Yeah. MD. JPB. It's only right, baby.
Yeah. Why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go on, run it back. You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of What Ifs, and I am back here with another video. And today, I am doing What If Naruto Had the Eyes of the Lord Part 2, not the same Naruto. And sorry I haven't posted What If Austin was Zoro's reincarnation. Like I said in my community post that I just posted a few hours ago. I will not be able to do that because I'm actually doing the elf art this time. I'm trying to, figure shit out. I'm gonna find an actual purpose for Austin and reveal you his true goal when he got reincarnated. Now, let's get into this part because I know y'all been waiting for it. So, quick recap, we started with Naruto unlocking the Eyes of the Lord when training with Jiraiya, and when he returns, everything happens the same except Naruto now has godly power and can basically do everything and anything, and is already a sage. He killed Deidara and already surpassed Jiraiya in power, and now after saving Gaara and Lady Chiyo, Naruto and Team 7 are now going to attack, or, well, track Sasuke. Now, after a while of planning, the team gets ready for Kabuto to arrive, and Naruto disguises himself as Sasuke, even perfectly copying his voice. And when Kabuto does arrive, they meet on the bridge, and Naruto is doing pretty good, but he can sense Orochimaru nearby, even though he's trying to hide his presence. And as Kabuto asks for a certain item, Orochimaru would appear on the bridge, asking, "Mind if I join you?" Sasuke pulls away Kabuto, Naruto pulls away Kabuto, and they get in a fighting stance as they get ready for a fight. When Kabuto then fills his hand with chakra and swings at Sasuke instead of Orochimaru, only for his hand to be caught as Sasuke then poofs, taking his own form, his actual form, that being Naruto, who says, "Watch where you point that thing." He then neck chops a shocked Kabuto, who starts to fall, thinking, "What just happened?" When Kabuto falls, Orochimaru smiles, asking, "How do you think you compare to Sasuke now?" Naruto then rose his shoulders, saying that he has far outclassed him, and Orochimaru was surprised by his cocky attitude. Team 7 then goes to jump out of the bushes when Naruto puts his hand out, saying, "He's mine, don't move." Quickly, Naruto takes out and throws a kunai, which Orochimaru catches, only for him to be punched across the face as the kunai transforms into a Naruto clone that had just punched him. "You finally started using your head, huh?" Orochimaru then blows away the clone and releases a snake out from under his sleeve, which grows and goes to eat Naruto whole, but Naruto's already behind to surprise Orochimaru. He then turns back to elbow him, but Naruto turns with him, staying behind him, and before then infusing his arm with chakra, and then he cuts off the giant snakes, the giant snake off, and then it just shrivels up before Orochimaru then, gets punched in the stomach. He then gets punched and kicked in the air as he's just going up, what Naruto did to Sasuke, and Naruto then fills his hand with concentrated chakra and slams a punch in his stomach. This blows out Orochimaru's guts as a huge pressure pushes back the team, who watches this in shock, and Sakura would say, "I thought he would at least still need our help." This development surprises Sai, as Naruto getting this powerful was never put into account. Now, as Orochimaru's guts get blown out, and he's obviously in pain, a snake comes out of his mouth, and that snake shoots out a sword, but Naruto grabs the sword barehanded and breaks it before then taking his hand out of Orochimaru's stomach, and then he throws a powerful left hook to his face, sending him flying through the forest behind as he leaves a huge path before Naruto. This is a good bridge. I thought he would collapse by now or something. Team 7 then runs to Naruto and Kakashi asks if Naruto needs help, with Naruto saying no. If you get in the way, he'll use you to escape somehow. He then blitzes forward at Orochimaru, teleporting in front of him, and Orochimaru smiles once again, only to then be punched right in the stomach, making him spit out a bunch of blood. But then Naruto is enveloped by snakes, as Orochimaru would just be saying, "This is so goddamn interesting." Naruto then breaks out using pure physical strength, as Orochimaru gets a punch slammed in his face again, and Naruto craters his head into the ground this time. But as Naruto does this, a puff of smoke occurs as Orochimaru regurgitates himself, and then he turns into a snake trying to leave, only to then be stepped on by Orochimaru as he spits out blood, but simultaneously also spits out a new body, and at this point he's a bit weakened. Orochimaru then turns on his back, laughing, saying, "You've become a real monster, huh?" Something like that. "Now where is he?" Naruto would ask, as Orochimaru, however, uses one last ability, and sinks to the ground, leaving Naruto there alone. God damn it. Luckily, I can still track him. He then runs back to the team, but he notices that Sai is flying over him using a bird made of ink, but he ignores him as he runs back to the others who are actually running towards him, and they say that Sai must be going after Orochimaru alone. Naruto then reveals a piece of cloth that he ripped off Orochimaru and gives it to Kakashi, who summons his ninja dog. So they are led to where Orochimaru is, and they get in the same way as before. They then search for an injured Orochimaru and Sasuke, who they hope to find, when an explosion occurs and they run down the corridor, finding an open space. And as they run outside, they see Sai in front of them, and Sasuke is above him to their left. Sasuke? Sakura would say in disbelief, as Sasuke looks down at his old teammates and gives off an emotionless smile, and everyone doesn't know what face to make or what to do. Meanwhile, Naruto was smiling with excitement. How's it been, buddy? We're not buddies, Sasuke would say. Naruto says, well, that's not for you to decide. A silence then sets in with Sasuke asking, you've gotten a lot stronger, haven't you? Why didn't you slack for 2.5 years? Sasuke then asks who Sai was, with Kakashi saying he was here to replace him, and Sasuke says he's pretty different from him if he wanted to protect Naruto's bond. You said that? Sakura would ask, and Sai says it's merely for my own selfish reasons. I want you to help me feel again, Naruto. Sure thing, but Sasuke is due for a good smack, he would say, as Sasuke then notices Naruto has already disappeared, and he feels wind on his neck. Don't underestimate me. Everyone is shocked to notice him already behind Sasuke, as Sasuke goes to strike while taking out his sword, but Naruto dodges and keeps dodging his attacks. But then Sasuke would strike, creating a stream of Chidori. Naruto, as he sees this, copies it and releases a stream as well, as they clash, and both him and Sasuke are pushed back. And Sasuke almost falls down the hole, but he doesn't and regains balance. He learned it too? Naruto then said that using Chidori is pretty good, but it's not his style, as he then wanted to show Sasuke his new jutsu. He claps his hands together and wind starts to gather around him, and the others jump out of the other side, of the building, and they see the fight, progressing. Sasuke then spreads lightning all over his body and prepares for another attack, not knowing what to expect, so he attacks before Naruto can do anything, and before he can complete his jutsu. He appears right in front of him and thrusts his attack at Naruto, but in that moment he gets a cut on his cheek and then one on his shoulder, before then being simultaneously attacked from all sides by sharp blades of wind, undetectable even to his Sharingan, which he has activated. He then gets torn apart as he drops, and Naruto would say, wind style, invisible storm. Sorry, still working on the name. Who the hell are you? You can't be Naruto, Sasuke would say, and he gets up slowly, being bloody, as Kakashi and the others are impressed, and he just made his own jutsu, like his actual thing, not using the Rasengan and blasting it every single time. And Naruto says he definitely is Naruto, and asks Sasuke if he has seen Orochimaru. Don't tell me you. Naruto then says, you didn't see him, huh? Coward, he ran it before I could finish him off. Now, Sasuke doesn't really know what to think, but it sounds like Naruto beat Orochimaru, who had to escape, and he notices that Naruto isn't even using the Nine Tails, like, at all. And as he thinks this, Naruto walks past him as he asks him to please come back home, and Sasuke says, that place is not my home, and we are not friends. Naruto then clenches his fist, saying that he understands, before then saying that he should leave now unless he wants him to beat Itachi instead after he kills him, and Sasuke turns around pissed. Don't you fucking dare. Naruto's own dojutsu then forms, saying, that's the spirit, as Sasuke then sees this and becomes wide-eyed before then teleporting away, just as the team comes over asking why he let him go, and Naruto said that he wanted to keep him around, and if he wanted to, he would probably have to kill him because Sasuke was not going to go down without a fight, and Naruto says, I just want to bring him back, but he has to agree first, right? Or it's just like we're trying to imprison him. Since when did you become so deep, Kakashi would say, and Naruto says, I feel like you're implying something. Yamato then sighs, saying that either way this mission has failed and Orochimaru has escaped, and now they basically have no leads. And then they look to Sai, who says that after he entered the area he couldn't find him either, so they go back and pick up Kabuto, and Yamato seals him up and they take him back to the village. Upon arriving, Tsunade promotes Naruto to Chunin quickly and deals with the elders because they didn't like this, but she shuts them the hell up, and I really hate the elders. I think we can all agree on that. Naruto is then bombarded with books to study because they want him to rank up to Jonin because he is very strong and he really needs to become one very fast. While studying, which is way easier for him now because he has his special eyes, he's at a steakhouse when he's approached by Team Asuma, and Naruto would say, hey guys, what's up? He then lifts his head and Ino blushes a bit seeing him, as she would then whisper to Shikamaru, is that really him? Of course it's him. Trust me, I'm just as surprised as you are. Asuma and the others then ask if they can sit down, and Naruto says yes as they then sit down, and Asuma remarks that Naruto is a Chunin now. He smiles, saying he's pretty happy. I bet. I heard you also became a sage. People are chatting about this quite a bit, Yeah, it's a huge deal, Choji would say as he then reaches for Naruto's meat, but his hand is then caught by chopsticks as Naruto glares at him and he apologizes. Naruto then takes the meat Choji was going to eat and says, well, it's not that big of a deal. I still couldn't bring him back. They all know who he is talking about, with Asuma asking if he wanted some training to catch Sasuke, and Naruto says that it's not like that. Sasuke did not beat him, he beat Sasuke. but it just feels wrong to drag him back here, and he thinks that it looks like he really hates being in Konoha, but he really wants to change his mind. So, you won the fight? Shino would ask, and Naruto points to himself saying, yep, leaving them all surprised as Naruto says again that it's not that big of a deal. At this point, Sai and Sakura walk in saying hi, and they sit down, and for a while they just hang out. So after that, Naruto will be heading home alone when he senses someone and says, his eyes would then shine as out would step a shy Hinata who says she's sorry for snooping, and Naruto's eyes would then widen as he blushes, realizing what he's been ignoring for some time now. This might sound arrogant, but does she have a crush on me? Even Kuronai-sensei hinted at it. Jesus, I'm such an idiot. He then sees Hinata has a scarf in her hands, a red one, and walks up to her, and obviously Hinata is very nervous, but Naruto is nervous as well, as he then takes the scarf, saying, it's for me, right? Hinata says, yes, I just wanted to ask if... Naruto would then say sorry, and Hinata would ask why he is apologizing, and Naruto says that he really shouldn't ignore a girl's feeling to this point, even if he's that dense, asking her if she wanted to go out tomorrow. Hinata gets surprised and says yes with a low voice, and Naruto says that he will pick her up at the Hyuga compound. The two then leave home, nervously, and as I said, Naruto is stronger, but he is smarter, stronger, but he's still the same rowdy Naruto. He can still get nervous, so shut up, okay? Goddamn. He's a teenager. Let the hormones fly free. So the next day, instead of training or anything, Naruto takes Hinata out to the shock of all the Konoha 11 when they hear that they are going out. And they gossip a little bit because they're happy for Hinata, who has been pining after Naruto for some time now. And he finally got a brain and took the first step. So they go on dates and get closer. Hinata starts to open up more and more, and they connect more and more. Naruto even starts training her for when the Akatsuki comes, and she becomes a bit stronger, and Naruto now always wears her scarf. Sai hangs out with Team 7 more, and they start to help him heal emotionally. When one day, though, as Naruto is at the training grounds, he is alerted that Team Asuma is in danger. He got the message from Sakura, and once he heard this, he moves fast, blowing back Sakura. As Asuma is just about to get killed, we go to the other battlefield. As he's about to get killed due to Hidan cutting himself because they're connected, in that moment, the site shatters to everyone's shock as Hidan is then enveloped by earth, which then holds him in place, and they all see a heaving Naruto who exits the gates, which is what he used to get here. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm so glad I made it. Shikamaru says Naruto's name in a hopeful tone, as she was so depressed before, thinking that his sensei could have died, and Shikamaru would then say that he's really happy he's here. As Asuma then sighs, and the circle formed around Hidan starts to dissipate. He feels his chakra being sucked, Hidan feels his chakra being sucked, and Naruto would say, feels weird, doesn't it? Sorry, but I had to cheat a little bit. He copied the jutsu from one of the Sound 4, and Hidan is pissed, the earth is absorbing his chakra, and he would yell, let me the hell out of here, His head is then cut off as Naruto tells him to shut up because he is loud. However, as Naruto says this, he hears laughing, and Naruto would dodge a wind blast, looking back to see that Kakuzu's puppets were now alongside him. It's a big creature made out of a series of weird strings, and it's just simply abnormal. I'm kind of in a tight spot here. Luckily, I still have this guy. He then makes a shadow clone, which runs to Kakuzu, and Kakuzu would say, do not underestimate me, Uzumaki. He then gets cut on the cheek, and cut again and again. He barely dodges these attacks, and he can't even see these attacks when the puppet then attacks Naruto again. But as it does, Naruto's clone uses wind release on his kunai, and then throws it through this attack, and this kunai just pierces the mask of the creature, leaving a hole where its head would have been, and it falls apart. When did he... The original Naruto then says, I think you've been underestimating me. The two other shinobi are surprised to see that Naruto is dominating to this degree because it's only his clone, and he's already figured out how to deal with the puppets, which they think are pretty terrifying, and now it is gone. Naruto then looks to see an enraged Hidan, and Hidan would then say, hey, listen to me, you fucking fox. Naruto was then taken aback a bit to hear this guy just rambling, even though his head is cut off. Like, what is he? And he says it's a pretty neat trick to have, and he already copies it, having analyzed it with his eyes. And he makes a shadow clone, which then copies Sasuke's fire style, but increases its power. And as it makes hand signs, the clone blows fire at Hidan, and his head, while on the earth, starts to basically melt and disappear and die, and the fire will not extinguish no matter what. So as Hidan is slowly dying, the real Naruto then turns to Kakuzu, who gets on guard, releasing the two other puppets. But Naruto is less focused on them, as using the ability of the Byakugan, he sees the mask in Kakuzu's heart and smiles. You're an interesting individual. Kakuzu was then stabbed in the back, and he looks down to see Sasori-san stabbing him through the heart from behind, and he would ask, "How the hell are you doing this?" His puppets then crumble as the iron sand just disappears, and he falls, about to lose his life, when Naruto walks up to him saying, "I'm doing it because I have to. You can understand that, right?" Strangely, Kakuzu would smile, saying, "Good for you, Fox. Good for you." He then dies, as does Hidan by this point, because he's been burned to basically crisps and nothingness, and the clone would poof as Naruto falls down cross-legged, saying, "Using that many abilities at once is something I'm not used to." The others then run to Naruto, who say that it's okay and he's just exhausted, saying he probably should have used Sage Mode to just kill them right away. Shikamaru then cries, thanking Naruto, as he didn't know what he would have done, and Asuma thanks him too, and Naruto would say, "Well, you have a son coming soon, right? Oh, by the way, congratulations." Asuma would thank him, and Naruto says, "Now you have to stop smoking though." Asuma gets sad hearing this, as everyone laughs, and they help up Naruto, and he's already regaining all the chakra that he used due to being a Uzumaki, and they take Kakuzu's body and leave. On the way, they meet Choji, Ino, and a bunch of other Jonin, and they thank Naruto for helping out. And when they get to the village, Naruto, Sai, Kakashi, and Jiraiya gather in the office of Tsunade. "How would you rank these guys in terms of power?" Tsunade would ask, and Naruto thinks about it, saying, "They're weird. They're simply not humans anymore." Shikamaru can attest to that when he comes in later, but they're just not people. One of them wouldn't even die after I cut off their head. Sakura then sighs, saying, "If we could just get our hands on one, just one, maybe Mr. Ichi could help us gather some information." Jiraiya would then say, "Well, I could do some investigation on my own for now. I guess they'll have to do." Now, as they converse, someone then walks in telling them that Sasuke has been spotted, and apparently he offed the Orochimaru once and for all, surprising them all, and he's on the move. Now they can go after him. So setting up a team, they head up with Naruto, Yamato, Sakura, Hinata, Shino, Kiba, Akamaru, Kakashi, and Sai. Wow, that is a lot of people. Now by this point, Hibe has been formed with just Sasuke's little group, and the Akatsuki actually send Itachi and Kisame at him this time. And so as the Konoha team heads out, they are, running, and Sakura would then ask, "Are you two really a thing now?" And Hinata blushes hearing this, with Kiba scoffing, because if I'm not wrong, Kiba has a crush on Hinata, which is kind of sad because he never got that, but he got 10-10. Yeah, that's not any better. Naruto would then say, "Yeah, we are. Is it that weird?" They all get stunted by his boldness, and Hinata feels a sense of release since Naruto was the one that said they were a thing, and Sakura chuckles, saying that she's just happy for them. Yamato would then say, "Well, I do understand you are in your youthful years. Could we focus on the mission at hand?" They all say sorry and then head out, soon splitting up around where they think Sasuke is, and Naruto still makes a ton of clones to search around the forest. Along the way, while he's alone, he encounters Itachi, who appears forming from crows, and Itachi would then ask, "Can we talk, Naruto? So you're not here to capture me, torture me, take out my tail beast?" Itachi doesn't answer that question, however, as he then asks why Naruto chases Sasuke so much, as he is someone who betrayed him and their entire village and their team. Naruto would then say, "Well, I can't explain it. You and Sasuke might be brothers, but it feels like he's my kin as well. It's pretty simple, right? He's precious to me. That's all there is to it." Itachi then asks Naruto for a favor, asking if he can know what his dojutsu is, and Naruto instinctively backs away, asking why he was just doing all of this. "You're in league with the Akatsuki, right? I mean, why are you being so..." Unless Itachi then cuts in, saying, "None of that matters. Besides, I couldn't even beat you if I knew your abilities, could I?" Naruto then says that he would decimate him, to which he laughs, and Naruto says that he can copy anything, even dojutsu special abilities and Kekkei Genkai. It really doesn't matter. Normally, only being able to copy would make me a pretty weak fighter, but after using the attacks, I retain the experience of the users to use it, so to speak. It's actually really weird. It's like I've used the attack a million times. Now, inside Naruto's mind plane, we then see Kurama, who would then say yes. Quite a weird feeling indeed. As Itachi then asked if he could put a Genjutsu on Naruto, and Naruto says that if he does that, it will reflect back. And Itachi asks if he can make it so that doesn't happen, and Naruto thinks before then, saying it should be fine as long as it's a weaker version, and he can reflect it at a higher level later, and just not do it now. Itachi then smiles, summoning a crow, saying that he was putting his life in Naruto's hands, and he summons his crow, and he uses Kodoha Matsukami on Naruto. When Naruto loses focus and comes back to again, he realizes that Itachi is gone and sighs with disappointment. "He tricked me, didn't he? Well, at least I learned an OP Genjutsu." Soon, one of Naruto's clones then spots Sasuke having, been beaten the dog shit out of by Kisame, and he is nowhere near his level as Kisame swings down Samehada at Sasuke, who has just entered his final form of his curse mark. But Naruto appears blocking Samehada with his bare hands, and this cracks the ground underneath him, and Kisame would just think, he caught it? Kisame is then kicked in the face and sent flying by a clone of Naruto, which then poofs, and Naruto turns and helps up Sasuke, who pushes him away. This is my fight. If I can't beat him, how will I beat Itachi? Would you rather die to this guy, though? At this point, Kisame then gets up and they are both on guard as he then says, that was good, let's see how you deal with this. He then makes the hand sign before then releasing a giant wave of water, which Naruto copies right away, and blows a wave 10 times bigger back at him, and when their attacks clash, Kisame is pushed back, and the forest is partly swallowed up by water. But then Kisame jumps out in his half-man, half-shark form, going to slash at Naruto with his claws, but his hands are grabbed by a snake as Sasuke then knocks him off balance, just enough time for Naruto to strike him at the heart, but he senses it with his Byakugan, just in case he's not one of those niggas that can move their hearts, and this attack pierces him and just destroys his heart, and Kisame spits out blood as he falls over, separating from Samehada, and Naruto pulls his hand out. I told you to stop getting in my way. I just saved your life. Be a little bit more grateful, would you? Sasuke then starts walking away when he looks back and notices that Naruto has disappeared with Kisame, and then he notices that Samehada is now crawling to him, thirsting for the chakra of its new master, as he then smiles and extends out his hand and he grabs the sword. As he does, the sword fills him with chakra that is siphoned from Kisame, who is now dead, and Sasuke would then think, seriously, killing that bastard in one blow? Just how strong is he now? That doesn't matter. He isn't my goal, but the next time we meet, I'll definitely be stronger. He then leaves and meets his team when Naruto finds the others, saying that he had to kill Kisame, but at the very least, he thinks he still inspect his body in some way. After failing to catch Sasuke, they then go to return to the village when they sense someone new, and as they look up, they see Tobi. I heard you killed my soon-to-be teammate. That cloak, it's another Akatsuki, Yamato would say, as Naruto then asks which member he's talking about because he's killed so many at this point, and Tobi just looks at Naruto and he sees a little glimmer. I was right, wasn't I? Tobi, however, is then attacked by Naruto coming from behind with the kunai, only for the kunai to pass through him, as well as the clone, shocking everyone, and the kunai lands in front of Naruto, and the clone then poofs, but Naruto smiles as he already copied this little ability. What the hell are you laughing for? Doesn't matter, next time you meet you'll be dead anyway. Tobi then warps right next to Naruto, reaching for Kisame, but his hand is then cut off entirely as he jumps back in pain, and he is then slashed across the back by a wind blade. It leaves a huge scar, and Tobi would then be thinking, how the hell is he doing that? Next, his face is then cut up, meaning that his mask cracks, and he quickly covers it as both Hinata and Kakashi appear by him with the Chidori and Palm Strike. As they hit him, though, a smoke bomb goes off, but Hinata activates her Byakugan, as does Naruto, and they see and chase after him, but then he has warped away again. As he disappears, Sai then creates an ink bird which blows away the smoke, and Naruto would then say, shit, you lost him. Sorry guys. Kiba then says, why the hell are you apologizing? That was awesome. How did you get him like that? He ran off like a rat. Naruto then points using his Winjutsu as he swipes at a branch Tobi was standing on, and it is cut by a quick slash as it crashes down. Pretty cool, right? They are left in awe because they couldn't even see the wind jutsu he was using, and even Kakashi couldn't with the Sharingan out. But anyway, they go back to the village, and Naruto would be called into the Hokage's building to meet the council. So he enters seeing Danzo, Tsunade, Homura, and Koharu, and Danzo would then ask, are you aware of why you're here? Naruto looks blankly at him saying, shouldn't the other council members be here? Homura then tells Naruto not to be disrespectful. We suspected that you have betrayed the village. What do you say about this? Tsunade would then say, making such an accusation is quite troubling, don't you think? Koharu then says, well, this can't be a coincidence. We've learned that you surpassed Jiraiya, so taking out a rogue should be no problem for you. They then think that they've put him on the spot when Naruto smiles before then saying, speaking of Uchihas, Sir Danzo. He then walks up to him slowly, but he keeps a straight face, only for Naruto to then grab his hand and cut it off, shucking all of them as his blood then sprays everywhere and ambus surround him from every side. Danzo then screams in pain as Homura then yells, just what the hell are you doing, Naruto? What is that thing? They all look to see that Naruto is holding an arm filled with Sharingan, and they will be disgusted as their attention turns to Danzo, and Danzo would then think, how did he know? I was malinformed of his true ability. Naruto then drops the arm saying, I think you have more pressing matters to tend to. I believe massive genocide is not something you can overlook, don't you think? He then walks away, and Tsunade calls in her own Abu, telling them to take away Danzo, and as he's being dragged away, he would yell that he did it all for the village. Meanwhile, Naruto exits the building, and he can already see people working hard and trying to figure things out, and when he truly exits, he meets Hinata, and Sakura, and Hinata would then ask, "Are you okay?" Naruto then makes a peace sign and says that he's fine, and she's glad, as Naruto then says that they should go train now because he fears they may be caught off guard. So yeah, they start training. A few days later, we cut to Jiraiya, who is cornered by the pains at their village, but he smiles confidently, saying, "If it wasn't for my stupid disciple, I never would have thought this was possible." The Pains then watches Jiraiya enter perfect sage mode from his imperfect one, and he smiles as the Pains then get what he's trying to do, only for it to be too late as he poofs away back to Miyaboku. As he lands, Ma and Pato jump off him, and they say they're glad he managed to escape, and Jiraiya would then say, "That doesn't matter right now. Bring Naruto over here. He needs to hear this." Pato then nods as he summons, and as he summons Naruto, Naruto lands right in front of them, surprised, before then becoming angry. "Why? Why now? I was out with Hinata, you bastard!" The Toes then get scared as The Toes then get scared as Naruto shakes Jiraiya like violently, asking what could be so important. "We were about to kiss, you pervert. You ruined my moment." Wait, seriously? No, wait, that's not the point here. This is really annoying. "I found the leader of the Akatsuki. Calm down, stop shaking me." Naruto was then surprised to hear this as he then asks what he found, and Jiraiya says that they're planning to attack the village soon because Naruto has become too much of a threat, and they now know about his dojutsu. Oh, I named it the Zen Shogun, by the way. Pretty good, right? Then is there really a point in hiding it now, Jiraiya would ask, and Naruto says that there really isn't a need for that, but he's going to reveal his abilities soon anyway. And so together they head to Konoha and alert the village for the, upcoming members of the Akatsuki who are going to attack. Now, how will Naruto stop pain? How will Tobi react after this fight is over? Find out in the upcoming parts. It's been me, Prince of What Is, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, before I end this fully, I just want to say I named the dojutsu the Zen Shogun because I searched it up on some Naruto fandom thing, and it has Zen Shogun, which Zencho, I'm guessing like the rest of the word, means omen. So I'm trying to make it like a kind of religious thing because omens and oracles, Christianity, all that type of stuff. Even in Greek myths, there's a bunch of omens to certain things. This eye is gonna be an omen to the new world that Naruto will be creating. I think it's pretty good. If you guys have any other suggestions, tell me. I'm not gonna add them in though because it's already too late, and I will not be changing the name because I think it's pretty good. And I like the Z at the beginning, Zen Shogun. That shit sounds dope. Anyway, stay safe and goodbye. The next video will be what if Asta was Zoro's reincarnation. Sorry about not posting it. Bye.